Hey guys, this is God of Politics, and welcome back to a brand new video. But before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, join the Discord that is linked down in the description. And as you will probably be able to tell, I do not have my normal microphone. That should just be for today. You can probably tell it sounds a little bit different. You may hear some background noise as well. I do apologize for that, but this should just be for today. But I still did want to upload a video. I also am not using my webcam, but I should also be back to using that tomorrow. But in today's video, I did want to talk about why the state of Pennsylvania is a must-win state for Joe Biden in 2020. If he does not win the state of Pennsylvania, he probably will not win the election. Now, why do I say this? Well, looking historically at the state of Pennsylvania, it has been quite an important state. If we want to look at the polls from back in 2012, we can see here back in 2012 in the polling data, Obama leaded by 3.8 percentage points. He ended up winning by 5.4. And so, that was a pretty good result for Barack Obama. If we want to look at the map here, as you probably just saw, Barack Obama ended up winning the state again by 5.2 percentage points. And where did he do well? Well, he obviously racked up his votes in areas like the Philadelphia area, getting 557,000 votes here. And even the Philadelphia suburbs, he got a lot of votes. And he also got a lot of votes in areas like Allegheny County, which is the Pittsburgh area, also up here, which is in the Scranton area, and even in places like Erie County, which is up in the north. But if we flash forward to the 2016 results, we see a very different election. Now, why is that? Well, for starters, counties like the suburbs of Philadelphia, for example, Delaware County won 59 to 37. If we go back to 2012, Barack Obama won at 60 to 38. So those areas, despite the fact that the state overall trended pretty red, those areas did not trend red. If we want to look at Montgomery County, Hillary won at 58 to 37. Barack Obama won at 56 to 42. If we want to look also at, Bucks County, that's a similar result. You get very similar results in these Philadelphia suburbs, despite the fact that the state was a lot more red overall. But look at this. All of these rural areas out here are solid red. You see Donald Trump getting in the 60s, the high 60s, the 70s, even in some areas in the high 70s. And so why is that? Well, if we compare it to 2012, for example, Barack Obama, cracked almost 40% in some of these areas, which Hillary Clinton did not even get close to. We see she's not even, getting 20% in some of these counties. And, this is very indicative of an overall trend to the right from these rural areas. These rural areas are becoming a lot more Republican, and this is something we're seeing all across the country. The only reason it's having such a profound effect on the Rust Belt is that the rural areas were historically very Democrat in the Rust Belt. You look at areas like the Iron Range in Minnesota, in which I talked about in one of my videos the other day, which you should check out. I also talked about the rural areas in states like Wisconsin and states like Michigan. Whereas if you go to rural areas in states like Texas and Georgia, Republicans already have 80% of the vote, 80, 90% in some cases of the vote. So how much room is there really for Republicans to gain? And yes, Democrats overall are actually gaining in the Philadelphia suburbs. They're gaining in some of these Pittsburgh suburbs too. But they're losing so much in the rural areas. And in areas where the rural areas were Democrat turning Republican, there's a lot more room for Republicans to gain. And Pennsylvania is a pristine example of that. Now, you can see here Donald Trump won the state by 0.7 percentage points. As we said in 2012, Barack Obama won the state by 5.2 percentage points. That is a 5.9% trend toward the Republican column. And while neither candidate cracked 50%, as Obama did in 2012, it is showing that Pennsylvania overall is probably going to be more Republican. I mean, there is a question of how much more Republican can these rural areas get, but I do believe there still is room. And there is a lot of, different data showing many different things. For example, voter registration data looks quite good for Republicans in terms of registering voters. Even some of these Philadelphia suburbs are actually outraising Democrats. But the polling data, for example, as we saw the polling data from 2012 here, the polling data, if we want to go back to the 2020 race, Joe Biden is currently leading by 4.7 percentage points in the state of Pennsylvania. He was up by a little bit more at one point. He was actually up, 7 points here. I believe 7 points was around his peak. Actually, he was up at 8.5 percentage points at one point if we wanted to see some of these individual polls here. We had, for example, an Emerson poll showing Biden up by 9, which, you shouldn't necessarily count too much. We had a University of Wisconsin YouGov poll showing Biden up by 9. We also had even a Trafalgar poll showing Biden up by 5 a couple months ago. And so this is of those Rust Belt states. You could argue that, in terms of polling data at least, this has probably been one of Joe Biden's best states for polling data. And there's been very conflicting data overall. As I just said, the voter registration data has been very good for Republicans, and the polls have been very good for Democrats. But, this is getting to the point of the video. Joe Biden cannot win the election without the state of Pennsylvania. So assume, Donald Trump pulls out a squeaker in Arizona, and he does it in Florida and North Carolina, and even Nebraska's 2nd District and Wisconsin. Well, at that point, Joe Biden can win Michigan, he can win Pennsylvania, and then, maybe he could get Nebraska's 2nd District. Then he's at 269. But then you take away Pennsylvania, he's all the way down to 249. But assume Joe Biden can win Wisconsin. Well, at that point, he flips Michigan, he flips Wisconsin, he flips Nebraska's 2nd District, but Donald Trump is still at 279. At that point, as soon as Joe Biden flips Pennsylvania, Joe Biden goes up to 279. Well, what if, Donald Trump wins Michigan, he somehow in some, crazy way wins Michigan, he wins Wisconsin, he even wins Nebraska's 2nd District. Well, at that point, Pennsylvania is blue, but if you turn Florida blue, it only takes Florida and Pennsylvania to turn the election to the blue column. But again, if you take Pennsylvania out of that scenario, Joe Biden is knocked back down to 261. So there's many scenarios to do this. And the only scenario where really Joe Biden can win without the state of Pennsylvania is if he wins Florida. And he could win Florida and Michigan. That would get him to 277. He could win Florida and Wisconsin. That would get him to 271. And he could even win Florida and Arizona, which would get him to 272. But, things are not looking too great for Joe Biden in Florida right now. They were looking very good for him before. He was up around 7 percentage points in the polls. But again, this is Donald Trump's home state. You do have, the top, the panhandle of the state trending red. You do have Joe Biden not really going to these places like Donald Trump is. Donald Trump does go there quite a lot to his Mar-a-Lago resort. And so, a lot of people are not really giving Florida to the Democrats. Even it's immune to wave years in 2018 and 2014. But in 2018, the Republicans actually won here in both the senatorship, flipping the Senate seat, and the governorship they also won in. And it does love incumbents, especially Republican incumbents. So it will be hard for Democrats to win there. Basically meaning that the Democrats are, their easiest path is going through the state of Pennsylvania, through the state of Michigan, through the state of Wisconsin, but it all goes through Pennsylvania. And, I may make a video in the future about how crucial Florida is to Donald Trump, probably more crucial than what Pennsylvania is to Joe Biden, but Florida is a very crucial state to Donald Trump, and Pennsylvania is the most crucial state to Joe Biden. You can argue it's a tipping point, but I believe it's maybe a little bit more blue than people may give it credit to be. I do believe that this is probably tilt to lean blue at the moment. I wouldn't necessarily trust all of these polls, but you do have to kind of look at the fundamentals of this state. Joe Biden was actually born in this state. He was nicknamed the 3rd senator of this state. He does a lot of connections to this state, and so that does help him. And overall, this is sign of in Pennsylvania, it's going to be more trending towards Republican in the future. This will probably be a more Republican state. It is probably losing an electoral vote after the 2020 census, and so that's another thing you have to watch out for. But overall, Pennsylvania is a very important state this election, probably the most important state. Hillary Clinton did not pay as much attention to it as she should have, and it is a state that she lost because of it. So thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also join the Discord that is linked down in the description. Again, sorry for the audio on this video if it does not sound as good as my normal videos, but I should be back to normal around tomorrow. So again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.